Hello and welcome. I'm Jess Catmans, guided by Equus, and this is your Horse Wisdom Insights for the week of January 25th. I'm here with Bo and the rest of my mare and foal herd. And I almost was going to wait to do this video because there wasn't really anything that was hitting me as far as what to share this week. And I was walking away, and then Bo and Stormy kind of looked at me, and it was almost like they were calling me back. And I knew in that moment that if I just turned it on and went with what I was feeling into, that something would come. And so interestingly enough, it's like the theme of this week is being called back. We're being called back into something. And whether that's backwards in time, backwards into a situation, or back to regain a knowing within us, like a deeper connection to our truth. And it's by, sorry little guy, it's by following the pieces that kind of guide us there. And so I guess a little bit more to that story. Bo, I didn't even know he was going to arrive until about 2 weeks before he showed up, and then I recognized that Sadie was possibly pregnant. And then I was actually doing a photo shoot with my horses the evening before she gave birth, and I had no idea that he was going to appear the next day. And it wasn't until a neighbor had sent me a message and said, "Oh wow, congratulations, you have a new baby." And I thought, what? So I went down to the pasture, and sure enough, there he was. And his soul wisdom, when I tuned into that, was the energy of Promethean. And so I actually had to look that up. And it his full name is Bravado, because that's his great-grandsire's name. But when I tuned into him, his name was Bo. And so this soul wisdom of the Promethean energy is all about being, bringing something new in a bold and courageous way. And so in following a number of different pieces that led me kind of down a bunch of different pathways over the last couple weeks, I was looking up Uranus, and interestingly enough, Uranus, the planet Uranus, as an archetype within us, is the great awakener, and was also called Prometheus. And I thought, how fascinating that Bo himself feels like he's carrying this Promethean energy. And in then doing some deeper research into that, in my own astrological chart, there is a point that points to Uranus as the Promethean energy with which part of my own soul is working through to bring into form, but it's an awakening within myself as to this deeper truth. And so this week it really feels like just following those pieces and going back, being called back into something where we get to recognize another aspect of who we are. And it's really cold here, so I'm having to shift hands. And when I was walking to these horses, there was an east wind that was blowing, and it's like it's blowing a newness that is kind of uncomfortable, but yet it's awakening us into something greater that's already existing within us. And by just paying attention to where we're being called back to this week, we will find that aspect of being able to follow a pathway that is kind of igniting this new adventure that I spoke about a little bit in the January podcast. So if you haven't listened to the podcast yet, tune into that, the Horse Wisdom channel guided by Equus, and stay tuned for where else this is bringing us into through the insights of the horses, as well as in creation and relationship with the universe and our world. So much love for myself and the horses, and we will talk to you next week.